All right. Super excited today to be here with Greg Holthaus, amazing Tom Ferry coach, amazing broker owner, runs an incredibly amazing brokerage. We were just talking about the number of, the volume, number of units they do. It's just incredible, what they do. So listen, Greg, super excited to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us today.
I'm glad to be here. How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm great. So listen, Greg and I this week are really excited. As most of you know, I coach with Tom Ferry. Greg is one of our top coaches as well. And we're participating with Tom in the summit. So, Greg and I have worked a lot over the last couple of weeks preparing for that and all that sort of stuff for this week. It's a little bit different this year because it's all virtual, but the content is amazing. So tell me a little bit, like what you're doing a few panels and a few stuff, things like that. What are you talking about?
Right. So what we've talked about now.
Hold on. So wait, hold on. I'm going to put up, just so everyone knows, I'm going to leave this up while Greg and I are talking about it. If you want to register for Summit, go to tomferry.com/events, and you can get registered. I think that it's still, it's $150 maybe or less. But go to there, get registered. It's going to be an amazing event. Gary V's going to be there. Obviously Tom's going to be talking, and more importantly, Greg and I are going to be there. So sorry, Greg, didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. Tell me a little bit about what you're chatting with at Summit.
Well, just first, I want to make sure you're hearing me okay.
Yes, I am. Yep.
Perfect. Yep. Because you're breaking up just a little bit, so I caught some bits and pieces. So let's talk about Summit quick. Is that where you want to start?
Yeah. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Summit, what you're covering and kind of in Summit.
So I'm really excited. I don't know if you all follow Rochelle LeCavalier. It's Rochelle.tv.
All right. Well, apparently we lost Greg. We shoot him a message real quick. The joys of live. We lost you. All right, so the joys of, listen, so here's a couple of things that I'm going to be covering. Let me go here real quick. So a couple of things that I'm going to be covering at the Summit, tomferry.com events, is I'm going to be covering Rookie to Rockstar. I'm going to be covering Rookie to Rockstar. I'm also going to be covering, so there's some crazy, amazing agents as Greg is back here with us. Let me get him back in here. All right.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I mean, I'm still live, so I'm going to blame it on you, but who knows? All right. No,
I'll take it.
Okay.
So Rochelle, anyway, Day in the Life of a Luxury Agent went extremely well. And what I love about her is she is living the Tom Ferry lifestyle. She's been in coaching for years. She follows the monthly, the weekly, the daily. Everything is just outstanding. And so what I love about her presentation is that she really does kind of tell all. She gives a lot of detail. And the part, I'll give you a sneak peek, is the non-negotiables. So she had a whole segment of non-negotiables. And like whenever she was talking, it just drew me in. And I got some amazing notes. So you need to follow Rochelle. I at Rochelle.tv on Instagram, 100%. That's a no-brainer. And if you want to catch this one, it's more than just a life in the day of a luxury agent. It's about everything that you have to do to follow a regimented schedule and why. And it's a killer piece. We also have Mala Sanders and Robert Yasmic, and they are luxury agents and doing an amazing job in their business. So we had a little Q&A with them, and they share some of their trade secrets, some really cool topics as well on some tech and things that they're using. And a big one, it's the problem everybody's having, is how to get more offers accepted, especially in a luxury market. But again, great takeaways for anybody at an intermediate level especially. And then there's my piece. So you guys can tune in as well there. I spent a lot of time on it, and I won't take a lot of time on my piece, but it sounds boring. I'm not going to lie, because it's like extrapolating MLS data to win more listings and to make video. It's like, oh, I'm so excited about numbers, But I do actually make it fun, and we go deep on video. I love video, and I think one of the key things that people forget is like the number one thing that everybody wants to know about is the value of their home.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Zillow's proven that time and time again. So we go into some detail about how to bring some basic numbers, create a steady market report for agents to where you can look like that market expert, that market leader, and do a great job. And I give you some quick, easy tips on how to shoot a video for free, not go live with you, because we're not going to talk about that after the beginning of this. But, you know, if you have a bad internet connection, not so good. But either way, it's a good, you know, you're going to come away with some easy stuff, like easy way to make a video, easy way to edit a video, couple great ideas. So, and again, it's for the agent that's like starting to take some listings, but maybe you're not winning every one of them. Maybe you're winning 3 of the 10. So hopefully everybody can follow in there.
Good. Yeah. So, and for me, I'm talking to, I was, you know, while we were jumping off, I was about to explain kind of what I was talking about, but I'm interviewing 3 amazing agents that, you know, they're rookie to rockstar panel. And these guys are killing it as new agents. So, you know, killing, you know, their morning routine, focusing on kind of their main lead source, which ultimately is sphere of influence for most of them. And most every agent is focusing on people that they know in order to drill business, you know, their way, and ultimately the commitment to their lead gen, right? Like it's not rocket science that we preach. Hey, you got to make your calls and do your lead gen. And these guys, those are the 3 things that they are kind of killing it. And then I go to the other end of the spectrum and I interview 3 top agents, and we're talking about, you know, investments, and we're talking about, you know, how to develop a really smart financial plan for long-term planning, right? So we talk a little bit about, man, building investment, building money, building passive income, whatever it is that they're building takes time. Like they got to have patience with it. It doesn't happen overnight. We also don't want to be throwing all of our money into, you know, we want to make sure that we have a plan to kind of move forward with that. The other one is P&L, making sure that you know where you're spending your money, what your ROI is, all of that sort of stuff. And then, you know, really having a passion for kind of what you do and creating something that you do. So anyway, 3, again, you know, agents that are running teams, making a ton of money, and they're looking at putting that money to work for them so that they're, you know, they're actually getting some stuff back from it, some income. All right. So listen, if you want to register, it's down below, tomferry.com events. It's going to be an amazing event. And yeah, so I'm going to, again, jump that off of there. So let's you and I jump into kind of what we're going to talk about today, which is the 3 C's of negotiations, right? Like when you look at what's happening in our market today, you know, what's happening in our market today where we've got, you know, ultimately it's a, you know, seller's market where we've got multiple offers. And one of the biggest struggles right now are agents that are working with a ton of buyers and them actually writing winning offers, right? So what I think we forget to do, and I hear way too often, Greg, like, and I'm sure you do, especially as a broker owner, where someone says, hey, I'm going to run to the office and put together an offer real quick and get it sent off. And I, you know, and in my head, I'm going, well, is, you know, you just throwing this offer together, or are you actually sitting down and being strategic about this offer and negotiating at a level, you know, where you need to be? Because like in a lot of cases, like you've one shot at this, like, and if you screw that up, then your buyers are going to lose that home, right? So you've one shot at this. So let's make sure that we're preparing ourselves and planning out that offer. So let's jump right in. Let's talk a little bit about when you talk about the 3 C's of negotiations. Tell me a little bit about, like, as an agent, when they're jumping into an offer, how do these 3 C's, what role do they play in negotiations?
So what you're looking at is the person that you're negotiating against. Okay, so it's not like it's a rule that, hey, just follow this step 1, 2, 3. You have to put a little time, energy, and effort into it. And I can tell you where I learned it. Certified negotiation expert is a designation. They're a private company. And the certified negotiation expert training is where I picked a lot of this up. And then the RENA from the National Association of Realtors. So those are 2 great designations that hit on both of these points. Okay, so what you're doing is you're sizing up your competition. Okay, and you're seeing, like, who's that person across from me and what is their style. And the 3 C's are combative, cooperative, and collaborative. And so you got to be careful with those, that you understand who that person is. So we can jump right in and talk a little bit. You can guess what type of personality the combative negotiator is, right? I mean, who's that guy?
Yeah, like so I'm obviously into personality types and reading. One of the biggest classes and best classes I've ever taken was learning personality types and then being able to go back. And I always say to like my clients, when you meet somebody, like do you look at them and go, hey, this is how they are, this is what they're a high D, high I, high S, high C, and and most agents go, well, no, they treat everybody the same. And that in negotiations, that's one of the biggest mistakes they make, right? Is they treat everybody the same. So they win some and they probably lose more than they win, right? So you look at that, I mean, combative is probably going to be a high D personality, right? Someone very direct, someone very driven, right?
Yep. High D, there, my way or the highway. And, I always refer to like, how do you deal with a bully? You just stand up to him, right? You got to draw that line in the sand. Sometimes you have to walk away, and this, there's more to it than walking away, because it's not like you're making that decision because you're the negotiator. You're representing people, and it's a tough thing when you're up against an agent that is just not presenting your offer, and they're not getting through the way that you would like for it to go through, and then you've got to tell people, maybe we need to walk away. That's one option, though. Okay, the other option is, depending upon the rules in your state, is you can present your own offer. And a lot of people forget about this rule. Now, it could be different in Canada, could be different in different states, but I'm sure that under NAR rules.
Yeah, in Canada, it's actually more customary for you to present your own offer. Like,
right. And certain parts,
I think that's great in the market like this, but oh, you're back.
There you go. So present your own offer. At the end of the day, I'm sure you nailed it. So present your own offer, and I think that is, again, it used to be very customary in the States in a lot of areas, but it's one of those things that kind of went by the wayside for whatever reason. So get back in there, present your own offer. I think you'll have a better end result, because the consumer on the other side of the table gets to hear from you, gets to hear your customer's position. Obviously, too, some of the old school techniques, accompany it with a letter, a heartfelt letter from the consumer, and make sure that it gets there. And again, that goes back to, if you don't want to sit down, try to do a read receipt, ask for their email so you can send it. Do what you can to just get in front of that person and get that person almost out of the way to where they can hear truly from your consumer.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you look at a high D personality, they're street fighters, right? So, we look at the fact that they want to go in, but here's the cool part is, for them, there's winners and losers, right? From their mindset is their goal is to win, and there's winners and losers. So, and they want to win, but they're going to definitely fight hard. And the challenge is they're going to hold that fixed position. Like when you talk about them being combative, they're definitely going to hold that fixed position of, hey, I want to win, and this is what it looks like.
Right. Yeah. I think you made a great point with the winning. They're all about winning.
All about winning, right? So and here's the thing in this market is they often want to win against the seller. And this is what I advise our clients is getting that personality to understand they're not winning or losing against the seller. They're winning and losing against other agents. So their offer, because they have one time, they'd like to negotiate, right? Like the high D percentage, they'd like to negotiate back and forth, but they only get one shot at this a lot, right? So they have to understand that they're competing against other buyers, not against the seller, which means if they want to win, they have to understand, man, you got to win against other buyers, not against the seller. So make sure we're writing the offer to beat the other buyers. And that's a mindset that works with this whole combative personality, high D personality, right? Oh, he's gone again. What is going on? All right. So let me just jump in really quickly. I'm going to text him again. Holy cow. Oh, there he's back. He's back. He's back. He's back. He's a fighter.
This internet.
We're going to fight this internet.
So did you? I guess we could tell everybody what happened. I live in a rural part of America, and my tower's down. Yeah. And so I'm tethering, and I don't know if are you hearing this?
Yep. We can hear it. It's all right.
So I'm going to take full blame, whether it's mine or yours. I'm going to take full blame.
Well, listen, I live in the country. The one thing that Greg and I have in common is we're both country people. Is we enjoy watching each other's pictures because we both live in the country, and And yeah, so my internet is a little shoddy sometimes, but this time I get to fully blame it on Greg, which is really good because like when you're talking to city people and they got all that fast internet stuff, they're like, oh, it's not my internet. So yeah, I'm excited. All right, he's back. He's back. He's circling. This is awesome. This is awesome. Hold on. We're gonna add him, and we're gonna remove. There we go. All right, he's back again. So yeah. All right, we'll do this in between us jumping on and off. All right, so let's talk about the second C.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Perfect. All right, let's go to number 2. All right, let's just go to number 2. I'm gonna go, and unless you throw your hand up, I'm gonna assume that you're hearing me.
I can hear you.
All right. All right. So number 2 is cooperative negotiator. Okay. And the cooperative negotiator is actually an amiable person. So have you ever presented an offer to somebody and they're like, hey, I'm going to do, I'll get that taken care of. Oh, yes. Thank you so much for the offer. Oh, my seller's going to be so excited. And they're just Nancy Nice Body. I mean, everything's just wonderful. Everything's rosy. The sea is blue. The skies are clear. Like everything's perfect. Well, then, they come back like, yeah, they said no. It's like they said no. So it's like now you've got this complete and total opposite because everything you say, what they're trying to do is they're trying to avoid confrontation. They're trying to avoid any sense of anything that makes them uncomfortable. So once again, you've got to work through all those problems. You've got to work through getting with this person and getting your offer presented. So same tactics, you might have to present your own offer. You might.
All right, so let me continue kind of with again where we left off on what
if we look at the different personality styles. Okay, he's back again. All right, so Greg, real quick, like what I was saying is in the cooperative style or the cooperative style of negotiations, it sounds like it's a little bit of both. Like, so it sounds like it's the high I personality, which is extroverted, which is somebody who's enthusiastic. Like you said, the sky is blue, roses are red, everything's great. And so they're highly enthusiastic about this offer. But here's the challenge. Not everybody is as enthusiastic about that offer as they are. So they don't they see the offer as this great thing. Like their challenge is they often forget the feelings of others in negotiations, right? And then it's mixed a little bit with the amiable, where the amiable is their goal is to make everybody happy, right? So it's not necessarily even to win the negotiation. They just want people to be happy, right? But here's the thing. They dread high pressure encounters. So they don't want, like you had mentioned, like they don't want to be put in a position where there's high pressure. So they just want to be cooperative, right? So, it's important to see whether your buyer's that way and your seller's that way. Here's the good and the bad is they're easily swayed, right? They're easily swayed. So it's easy for you to put in what you want, but they're, on the other hand, it's also easy for them to sway the other way as well. So, yeah. Is there anything that you needed to add to cooperation while you're still listen, I talk and you stay here. Maybe we should just get off of your good looks and I'll just do all the talking and you can sit off. There he goes. Oh. All right. So again, while we're waiting for him back,
come on. Okay. So I'm sure everything you said was spot on.
Thank you, Greg. Yes, it was. It was great.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you last one, and I'm going to let you run with it, and I'll go ahead and pop off so I don't keep interrupting your show. Is that like a plan?
Yeah, that sounds like a great plan. Good. So give us the third C.
So the last one is collaborative. This is the one we all want, and I'm hoping. Are you hearing me? Can you shake your head? Yes. Yeah. All right. Yep. Good. All right. So collaborative. And this is what we call give to get. Okay. So in this instance, what you're trying to do is like, hey, I'll give you this, you give me that. Now, collaborative is always and I always tell people, it doesn't have to be on price. Okay. You don't have to always negotiate on price. I mean, you could give other terms and conditions to get what you want. Here's the problem with collaborative though right now. in multiple offer scenarios, you don't have a lot of negotiation room. I mean, you always want a win-win for everybody whenever you can get it. But in an area which you have multiple offers consistently all the time, it's getting tougher to utilize what is typically the best negotiation technique. So here's a great example of give to get. I'm going to give you $10,000 above full price.
All right, and he's gone again. And so he's talking about the give to get, and I always say that. He's back. He's back.
$10,000 above full price. I'm not going to miss a beat. I'm going to get this done quick. I'm going to give you $10,000 above full price with an appraisal guarantee. If it doesn't appraise, I'm going to go ahead and make up the difference. So you're giving something to get an accepted contract. So this goes to that time like when you have to sometimes give your people more, or you tell them to offer more to get the product that they want. That goes back to just knowing your market, knowing the fundamentals, and knowing what to give to get what you're trying to get.
Yeah, so it's just working together. Here's what I always say is there's actually 8 different types of power, right? So one of the things that right now in negotiations that we work on is what I would call reward power and punishment power, right? So reward power is exactly what you said. Hey, I'm going to give you $10,000 more, so the seller feels, hey, this is great. I am getting a reward, or I'm winning. And then the punishment power is, in return, I need an answer within 2 hours. Like in Canada, like I was talking to some of my US clients, and in Canada, like it's somewhat normal to get an offer and have 2 hours to respond. But in the States, in a lot of different areas, you guys give like a half a day, or you give like a day, even some that are like normal 2 or 3 days, right? And so again, when you look at 2 or 3 days, giving them that opportunity to respond, then there's a lot of time there. So I want you to understand, like, reward and punishment means, hey, I'm going to give you $10,000 more. However, I want us to move the time frame done. So this is the deal. We talk about power. Ultimately, we are in a seller's market. So the sellers have I want to say all the power, but we have to understand power and get that sellers have some power, right? So the truth is, what we have to use is different types of power. Number one, charismatic power, right? And again, that's a little bit about, are you have to be friends, and again, or you have to have a great relationship building strategy in order to make sure that you're up in front of the sellers or the seller's agents, and being, like Greg had talked about, the last C, being very collaborative and being very cooperative with them. Because if you aren't cooperative and collaborative, they're going to, they're gonna not want to work with you. And therefore, when you're dealing in multiple offers, you want them to work with you, right? So that's the charismatic side of power, right? Is we know sellers have power. So our job now is to create an illusion of power by developing great relationships with sellers agents, all of that sort of stuff. Now, here's the type of power that you have with your clients, right? Which would be expertise or informational power, that you're the expert and you have the information. So, when we talk about the 3 C's of negotiations, I always say there's 3 C's 3 P's in, again, putting your offer together, which is, prepare, present, and position, right? So in different markets, we have time to present and we have time to work our position. No different than what Greg was saying about being collaborative, is there's no opportunity to go back and forth. Like, we don't have the opportunity to go back and forth. So we got to make sure that our positioning is very, very, very strategic, right? So we have to come with, and being the expert, we also have to come with all of the information, right? And we have to make sure that it's relevant and that, that you're planning ahead. So when we talk about prepare, present, and position, which I would just say that the 3 P's approach, or whatever you want to call it, preparing is really understanding and getting your clients to understand that, number one, speed matters. Like, speed matters. Like, so we have to have conversation up front in advance with our clients, saying that, listen, here's the truth. I'm going to send you as much information as I possibly can up front and in advance, because when we see the house that you want to purchase, we have to get on that. Speed matters, right? One of the biggest, you look at a S personality, you even look like a C personality. a detailed personality, you know, that's where you hear them go, oh, yeah, let me go home and think about it and all of that sort of stuff. There's no time to go home and think about it if you want to win, you know, the home that they want, right? So get them to understand that speed matters upfront in advance, right? Again, we have preparation builds confidence and ensures the kind of a smooth process. So we have to make sure that that happens. We have to know kind of our client's goal and exactly what they want. In other words, what is negotiable and what stands firm. Like, for example, if they can only buy up to, I don't know, $400,000, then listen, at the end of the day, $400,000, that's a firm thing. Like, we can't go beyond that. So we have to make sure that in negotiations that we're not, you know, that we're prepared, that, you know, that's a firm thing. Dates, time, maybe they're negotiable on that. So what should you do there, right? You should be picking up the phone and calling the other agent and getting an understanding of what the seller wants. Because at the end of the day, when we look at presenting the offer, we want to present an offer that says everything that the seller wants. The only way we're going to do that is if we pick up the phone and call the seller's agent and go, hey, what is the perfect date and time? What is the perfect whatever? As make sure that you're communicating with them, you know, in that manner, so that when you get to present the second P, you're presenting the materials that, you know, or you're presenting the contingencies or whatever that they want, right? So the only stickler may be the price, or the only stickler may be a mortgage, or the only stickler, whatever, may be one thing, but they get everything else they want. So when we're presenting, make sure our job as agents is to stay calm and relaxed. Because if we don't stay calm and relaxed, you know, again, we are going to be, you know, we're going to be the calming influence in negotiations in this type of market for our clients, because they're going to be really emotionally engaged in this, right? So making sure that you're keeping your emotions out of it, you know, and again, making sure that, you know, that you're kind of that person that kind of, you know, keeps everybody on the table and making the wise decisions for them. You know, again, and then when we talk about, you know, when we talk about the kind of, you know, the position, our job in positioning people, right, and making sure that we're positioning our clients in the best possible way, is making sure that we have a common ground, right? That everybody, the buyer and seller, we recognize what is the common grounds, and we ask what and how questions when we're putting our offer together. So finding the way that we can position our buyers in a format that gives them some power. You know, before Greg jumped off there, we talked a little bit about the reward and punishment negotiations, is making sure that we put a reward in there. So we're positioning the buyers to win because we're giving them, maybe it's $10,000 above asking. Maybe we just had a house go $250,000 above asking in our city, right? So maybe it's $250,000, but we expect that we want an offer or a response really soon. All right. And again, understanding your clients is so important when it comes to profiles and it comes to understanding who they are. We went over everybody. The only one I don't think we didn't go over was high C personality. And a high C personality, understand they're super analytical by nature, right? So if we look at high C personalities, we have to really understand that they're gonna pick things apart, right? They're really gonna pick things apart. They're gonna be rigid in negotiation. They're gonna be reluctant to any sort of flexibility, and they're gonna be precise on detail. So in order for us to set that type of personality up to win, we want to make sure that we're giving them all the information up front and in advance, right? Because they're gonna want to make an educated decision, and they're gonna look at it and go, okay, if I make an educated decision, I need the information. So if they need the information, we need to make sure that they have that information up front and in advance, right? So again, when we look at the 4 personality styles, we've got a high D, which is a very driven or, pragmatic personality, high I, which is very extroverted, which is going to get very excited about offers, an S, which is very amiable, and then a C, which is going to be very, analytical, right? So again, for a amiable or analytical, it's really important for us to make sure that we get them information upfront in advance before we take them out on showings, so that they can make a decision quick, because those personalities tend not to make decisions very quickly. And then the other 2, which is a high D, high I, we have to understand that they're fast moving, but they like to negotiate, right? So we have to get them to understand that this number one offer is for them to win or lose, right? They're either going to lose or they're going to win. So we have to put in their best offer upfront in advance. All right, guys. I'm at the 30 minutes. Ultimately, negotiations is a huge part. Let me kind of go through really quickly what we talked about. Number one, there's the combative style, cooperative style, and collaborative style. Right, those are the three styles of negotiations that align with the different personality styles. And in order to put our offer, we need to plan. We need to, again, 3 P's: plan and prepare, present and position, right? So plan or prepare, present and position. So we need to make sure that we're looking at those 3 P's and going, are we positioning our clients in a market where the sellers are, kind of have the power? Are we presenting what the sellers want to see, right? So what they want to see. And then are we taking time to prepare for it? Because putting your offer together is really important. It's not just about price, right? And again, if we were going to put a 4P, it's not just about price. It is way more than that, right? So again, we want to make sure that we're working on that. And the last thing is the high D, high I, high S, high C personality is really getting to understand who the decision maker is and making sure that we're speaking to the decision maker, in a way that they relate, is making sure that we're relatable to them. Our job is to create and find a place of power for our buyers, in a time when sellers kind of have the power and when properties move so fast that it's hard for us to, sit down and spend time putting it together. So you need to make sure that you're super prepared. All right, guys, hope you got something out of it. Sorry for all of the internet stuff. We'll just blame Greg. He's not even on here now, so we'll blame him. But sorry about that. In our world that we're living in right now with social media, we all have ups and downs with the internet. I know I do. I'm sure Greg has the same challenges. We're both pretty rural living. So, all right, guys, listen, thanks for joining me here on Mindset, Motivation, and Mastery. Hope you got something out of this today. If you want to follow Greg, it's at coachgreg.tomferry. Go to Instagram, follow him there. All right, peace out, guys.